Dear Darren Larkin, fellow Toastmasters, this is wonderful because I'm doing the telepresence project for the first time on telepresence, so I'll try to look at the camera. My speech today, as you would have seen in the title, it's called Fabric of Humanity. So, in what we've known today, we have two kinds of living entities. One is a human, one is an animal. So, you broadly classify living entities into two categories. Of course, when you go into animals, aquatics, and mammals, and so many things. But on a very broad category, you would say it's humans and animals. Now, what makes humanity is three core things. When Minu mentioned about Mother Teresa, if you close your eyes and look at Mother Teresa, you come up at compassion, you come up at care, you come up at consciousness. So humans are basically the key attributes of humans. As per me, can be three things. One is compassion, one is care, and one is consciousness. So there are three things that make somebody a human than an animal. So somebody can come back and say, oh, even if you're away from your pet, the pet will feel sad, it doesn't eat food and all that. But when it comes to consciousness, that's a different ballgame altogether. Maybe the animal feels, so it's got compassion. When you're hurt, the animal also sobs, and so all that attributes are there. But key things which I felt for humanity was care, compassion, and consciousness. Now, what describes a human and an animal? Now, where can you get to know what a human is, what consciousness is, what care is, what compassion is? Where would you go? Typically, if I need to know anything today, the first thing I would go is to Wikipedia. Wikipedia has got everything. In those days, what you used to have is, in the Indian context, used to have something called scriptures, which is called Shastra. Shastra is the Sanskrit word for scriptures, where sages who are very knowledgeable gave the information from, say, the master to the student. The student who grew up in his knowledge, he became a master, so on and so forth. So all this information was captured in what we call as Shastras. Like you have Wikipedia, it's all on the internet today. You just type something, it comes up, you can check out. Those days, it used to be captured on Shastras. It used to be on copper plates with copper plates with inscription. Yeah. So, what did Shastra say? Shastra said, okay, this is what is human being, this is how it needs to be, and so on and so forth. Now, what happened as any scripture or anything that can be, looked at many perspectives. So being humans, everybody started looking at things in a different perspective. So what happened is the scriptures became misinterpreted, they became misrepresented, and they became misunderstood. So there was knowledge that was there. People started looking at different ways, because of which there was misinterpretation, there was misrepresentation, and misunderstanding that happened. So all these things now resulted in many forms of religions that came up. One religion, then within that religion there were sub-religions, within that sub-religions there were castes, sub-castes, and so on and so forth. So as many as people started looking at things, so many was the complication that sort of trickled from there. So from where you had one scripture, you had many people looking at it, and it trickled down, so it became a sort of a pyramid structure where there was one truth that sort of got, I would say, it's not multiplied, it got diversified to an extent in various people looking and thinking about differently. In my understanding, being a Hindu, so we always say, I'm a Hindu, somebody is a Christian, somebody is a Muslim, and so on and so forth. So in scriptures, if you look at scriptural evidence, so the scriptural that I follow is, it says that there are, the basic core of religion today, if you look at majorities, Christianity is one, Hinduism is next, and Islam is the third one. So these are three major religions that are being followed. So what is religion? Anybody wants to take a guess and share what you feel about what religion is in your own perspective? No takers? Everybody's silent. Which you want to take a dig?
In terms of religion?
What do you know? What is your sort of understanding
I would
about religion?
think that religion ties very closely to faith, ties very closely to something you can't feel, you can't no you can't feel, you can't see, you can't touch, but something which you believe in. So I mean that's what I think a religion is.
Sure, sure. So, you know, this again is Michi's, view. So what we had here is Michi saying what she feels about religion, where faith and, she had attributes of religion. If you really go back to the scriptures, again, I'm saying scriptures because they were perfect. And if you look at, for example, if you go to Christianity, Jesus always said, I am the Son of God, right? He always says, I am the Son of God. And, his teachings are compiled and it's become the Holy Bible. You can relate Christianity to Hinduism in this format. Now, in the format of Hinduism, Krishna said Bhagavad Gita, where he says, I am the Father. So here you have somebody saying, I am the Father, and here you have somebody saying, I'm the Son of the Father, or I'm Son of God. So if you really look at Scripture in its true sense, we are able to relate. But if you don't look at it, then it's all getting lost. The essence of religion is getting lost. So going back to where I started from, humanity, the fabric of humanity is care, compassion, consciousness. Why we are where we are today is because of our misinterpretation, misrepresentation, misunderstanding of what religion is. And what's come off today, luckily or unluckily, we have so many variants, but the three major religions that are prevalent is Hinduism, Islam, and Christianity. And if we are able to hold on to the scriptures very strongly, I think that can become the fabric of humanity, getting all the components of this world of humans come together and live in a way that the scripture wants us to live, which is love of God. So religion actually translates to love of God. So if you love God, you love everybody else. Otherwise, you're sort of polarized. I love an Indian, I love a Christian, I love an American. So when you say I love an American, you're sort of getting everybody out. So I think religion translates to love of God, and fabric of humanity is what I feel is the religious principle that we need all to abide. So thank you.